Welcome back to part 2 of the Tzhaar Fight cauldren video. Now for part 2, I've decided to melee over ranging a mage, and this is nothing too particular, it's just I didn't feel like switching back from ancients to lunars, and vice versa. Now before you go in, once you've made the armor, you'll notice this. If you donate Tokel to it, as it says on the screen, it will boost the damage reduction in the fight cauldrons, and you have a 50% chance of degrading per hit. Before entering, also, you'll want shards of obsidian for repairing on the go so it doesn't break on you in mid combat. That's the worst thing that can happen in here. So I'll just take about 10. That's all you really need since you're going to be getting shards while you do this. And now we're entering part 2 of the fight. Now, I did break my rule from last time of only using barrows for Kurosky's sword, and that's simply just because I enjoy the spec and I'm using EOC combat. I'm sorry, Legacy combat. Going to have to get used to switching those terms up. Now, noticeably, in part 1, I was taking much more damage and dealing less damage to these guys. This is because the armor I'm wearing right now boosts my damage and it also reduces damage taken. However, this effect does not work outside the Tzhaar or Tokar areas like this. So that means you can use it in the fight kiln, fight caves, anywhere in the Tzhaar city. You can use it in the fight pits, but it doesn't work against player versus player encounters. It only works player versus monster. Now, when you repair it, and you're wearing it, it'll repair the damage to all your pieces of armor at once for a set amount of shards, depending on how much you do. I like to repair after every wave or two. That's just me. Some people will wait till about 20 waves in, and then they'll do it. Apologies about the lag in advance. My computer sometimes doesn't enjoy putting up with my recording software and the fight cauldron at the same time on this graphical detail. Now sometimes this will happen, it's just there'll be an automatic downtime. If the game refuses to progress, the way to fix this is exit through the heat vent and then come back in, and the next enemy will spawn for you. Now, when you're fighting in here, some people will have adrenaline potions, which were formerly special attack potions. You can use those if you want, but really, the amount of times you're going to actually need your special attack inside the cauldron are minimal at best. In fact, I'd only recommend that if you get challenged to a duel by Tokar Hawk. As for drops, and this is my personal standpoint in this game, pick up everything of even minor value. It all totals up, which is why I'll go to the Monastery of Ascension sometimes, and there'll be like 20 or 30 different Ascension shards on the ground no one's picking up. So then I'll respectfully ask if I may pick them up, and the person will say, usually, yes, pick them up. Sometimes they just can't get to them, and if that's the case, I'll leave it be, but you should really pick those up there, too. Okay, now this is probably something I forgot to mention earlier. Have your retaliate off. It's going to save you so much pain in the future. And the only reason behind that is you can get lured onto the lava plates if auto retaliates on and you're using melee. If you're using magic, oh, that's fine. Go ahead, still use it. Oh, my defense just leveled up to 92. Well, that's pleasant. And I've heard that from clanmates and other people that apparently what world you're on affects the spawn rate of these guys. I personally don't think that's the case, but you're welcome to test that out for me and let me know in the comments. since I'm not going to hop to 30 different worlds and bore you with me logging in, getting new gear, waiting for enemies to spawn. It's already boring enough waiting for them to spawn in between kills. This is someone I didn't get to fight in the last video. This is just the regular Tzhaar Ket. They're not that difficult. They're just, well, they're just really a pain. Anything in here is a pain. Now see, this one, it consumed more obsidian shards due to the damage that was done to my armor. The shield, if you wear it in here, does give more reduction to damage. Again, I'm just dual wielding for the sake of damage. Okay, now when you get the center one, you have a few things that can happen. It'll either be the big guy here, or it's going to be Tzhaar Hawk. And usually it's one of the bigger enemies, like the Mesh, the ones that heal. I can never pronounce their name right. Or Zek. Alright, they are for now known as Zek until I can pronounce their name right. It's recommended you pray, deflect, or protect from magic. I wasn't, just because I forgot about it. And then realized I should probably be praying so I don't get destroyed by this guy. And the best way to take these guys out actually is magic. But that being said, I'm sorry, not magic, it's range. That's right, because they're confused, two of them, for a second there. But anyways, the only reason behind that is just they're technically a mage on the combat triangle. Just they still have the ability to strike at you with melee, which I think is kind of stupid. It's like Eriski the Doomed in Barrows. He can still use his set like it was pre-evolution of combat, but the rest of us are kind of stuck having to use his mace as melee only when he was specifically designed to be mage and melee. He had a hybrid weapon. I'm venting slightly about this. I was seriously annoyed when they changed the sets of combat style and abilities slightly. At the time of recording, Araxor was just released, and seeing as this guy is just taking a while to kill, I figured I'd talk about it. The new spider boss, I must say, is quite interesting to fight. I went there earlier and unsuccessfully fought him. I got killed pretty quickly, but it's not that bad. I've been hearing some complaints about just it's a bad boss, and Jagex did a horrible job programming it, and you know what? I don't think that's the case. They made a challenging boss, and we have not had one of those in a while. Actually, the last challenging boss that you could solo, I'm not talking group bosses. Group bosses are in a league of their own. The last interesting solo boss we had that I remember is the Queen Black Dragon, and that was a while ago, so I was applauding they went through with this. Anyways, that's my little spiel on the new spider boss. Now, my recommendation is, as you saw me do, run, and I don't care what your stance is, just leave the cauldron every time you get a good amount of shards. It's going to give you more shards when you leave than if you die and leave, which, since you're here to get shards to either maintain or make armor, then that's the best thing for it. Now, another thing I've also found just while doing this is that you're going to degrade your armor faster if you do end up stepping on the plates. So just my advice is not to step on the lava plates. And I've just noticed, because it counts as a hit against the armor, it seems, that it degrades it. And the way this works, the armor works, is every couple hits degrades it or so, depending if you've bought the upgrade from the Tzhaar coffin over there. Okay, 2 more kills, then I'll wrap this up. With any luck, it'll be something big. Nope, just something irritating. And as I stated in my previous video, these guys are purely annoying for the fact they can drain your prayer. Other than that, these guys really aren't too difficult. They just have that annoying prayer drain that bugs you if you're trying to survive off of Soul Split or some other high-level prayer. And I know this goes without saying, but don't trap enemies around right here. 10 to 1, they're not going to move off the lava platform. So if they drop like an onyx or something like that, it's going to end up either in one of the surrounding plates, which could heat up at any moment, or on the lava. And I haven't seen anything wind up on the lava in quite some time, but I lost some gear to that once. Okay, so we're not going to get the lizard from the looks of it, but still. So the most common drops, as I stated in the previous video, you're going to get here are ores and gems. You can get Tzhaar weapons, which fetch a decent price in the Grand Exchange. They're basically dragon weapons without special attacks, or quest requirements in some cases. Grab the ore. And when you're selling this, you can do whatever you want, but I'm going to recommend right now that you not cut any of the gems you get from this place, because uncut gems currently sell for more on the Grand Exchange, and you'll be doing yourself a disfavor by crafting it. Yes, you'll be getting experience, but is it really worth the drop in up to 2,000 coins each per item you're getting? I mean, this is how you're making money while you're here, is off these drops, so you have... It's all up to you, but you just have to decide between a little extra cash or a little extra experience. I won't judge. I just prefer the cash since I've got pretty high stats. And this is rarely something you control, but try to get it. There's no plates heated up when you kill a Tzhaar. And the only reason for saying that is if you wait till the pads aren't heated up, then it will spawn them faster. And that is something I've tested. They do spawn faster if there's no lit up place, because the next plate that lights up is going to be a spawn over, say, the ones that are already active. I'm going to focus on the ranger first, just because I can kill him fastest. And then I target the most dangerous Tzhaar first, and normally that'd be the champion, but this ranger's just getting on my nerves, and so is the mage, so they're going to go down first. Since the champion, all he can really do is drain my prayer and hit every now and again, which it's not that big of a deal. I'm tanking most of what he hits me for, but the mage definitely needs to be dealt with. Now, if at any time you feel like you cannot complete this and you don't want to lose your drops in here, because when you die, all drops that were left will be removed. It's basically an instance shard area, so anything drops. If you have a citadel, same principle. If you drop something in the citadel and you leave, it's gone. Perfect. Okay. So if at any time you feel like you can't complete this, exit through the vent. There's no penalties for leaving. You just exit, get your shards, hit the bank, take out what you need. And while we have a moment, let's just see how much I've made so far off of this quick little run in here before something else decides to spawn and attack. So 49,000 coins. That's not too shabby considering how little effort this takes. Now, if I start getting more rune ore and stuff like that, then I'm probably going to make a lot more. But for right now, you know what? That's just enough to buy some monkfish. All you really need to use in here, unless you're dueling Tzhaar Hawk, then I recommend you use sharks. But still, I'm not dissatisfied with that. It's not great money. It's not anywhere near Frost Dragons. I mean, Frost Dragons, 3 kills, and I'd already have this amount. But it's enough to pay for whatever you're using in here at least. Which is fine, because I mean, you're getting like 2,000 experience a kill off of many of these guys. Now, I'm hoping this is another one of those lizards. If it's Tzhaar Hawk, I'm just going to end the video, but it's probably not. Ah, perfect. This is the guy I was talking about. You're going to want to pray protect from melee. If you have magic, this is the best guy for it. He acts exactly as the same as in his previous incarnations in the Fight, Kiln, and Cauldron. He will heal himself at intervals, depending on if you're in his melee range or not, and he will also heal anyone else in his melee range. In the Cauldron, you can get him paired up with the giant dog-like one that shoots magic from its tail, and you can also get it paired up with lesser Tzhaar. You will never find him with Tzhaar Hawk. I have never heard of anyone, nor have I ever gotten one of these while I was doing Tzhaar Hawk. That being said, there is no doubt a code somewhere in the game file that says it will happen, so if it does happen to you, please let me know, and I will add an annotation to the video saying that X or Y managed to get it. And please have footage of it too. If you don't, we'll just take it at mouth, but it's great to have footage also. I'll promote you else if you do have it also. Ah, perfect. Adamant ore. So those, the Zil, the Mej, and the Zek are probably going to be the best experience and cash drops in this area besides Tzhaar Hawk and his little goons. They seem to have better drops when you fight him. But at the same time, they're the most difficult. And there's Tzhaar Hawk again. Well, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe, leave a like, share it with your friends. This has been the Great Pernix Thief, and I will see you later.